So, my friends, welcome to a new crypto update video. Bitcoin at 105,200 US dollars. We have recovered somewhat, even reaching the region of 106,400 US dollars tonight. Unfortunately, we didn't get a close above our red resistance box. You can see that pretty clearly here on the 4-hour time frame. It's a bit annoying, and it also makes us lose a little hope that we might move up again. Still, I have to say, I'm very bullish about the whole situation. At least, I think we'll push up into the area between 107,700 and about 108,800 US dollars. Why I feel that way, you'll definitely find out in the video. We're going to take a look at the altcoins, which have also gained a bit recently, especially Solana, Ethereum, and we'll also take a quick look at NEAR, since there was a recent update video about it. But before we get started, feel free to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, feel free to join the free Telegram talk and signal group. If you're interested in updates, news, and signals, you're more than welcome to join. You'll find the link for that for free down in the video description. And if you're still looking for an exchange where you can trade everything we talk about here, you can sign up with my partner exchange, BingX. The link for that is also down in the video description. Right now, you can collect up to 11,500 USDT in bonuses if you register and complete KYC and other requirements. Alright, let's get started. Bitcoin is at 105,200 US dollars. On the 1-hour time frame, we see, okay, we had a close, even a 2-hour close above it, but the 4-hour close is a bit more significant. Unfortunately, we didn't make it to my entry point yesterday. That was down here at 103,280. That would have been the first entry point, right at the 4-hour 200. The SMA volume isn't exactly flawless either, I have to say at this point. Still, even though Paul didn't step down yesterday, which was just a bit of a rumor anyway, and we already talked about that in detail yesterday, I still see the whole situation as somewhat bullish at the moment. What does that have to do with? On the one hand, let's take a look at the funding rates. They've dropped significantly again, so they're back in the green or even in negative territory. That's a good sign, because it means there are more short sellers still in the market who could ultimately push the price up in our direction, so we could still see this upward momentum here. That would be point number one. Then, let's take a quick look at the heat map as well. On the 3-day chart, everything has already been taken out for now. Still, up here in the 108 area, there's a whole lot left. Let's also take a look at the whole thing on the weekly time frame, if it loads. Yesterday it didn't load. Let's hope it loads now. In the end, we see the same game, 109,000 US dollars. That's where most of the liquidity is right now, and as I said, that would fit really well with our price range up here, with our liquidity zone, or with our old pivot point. So this whole zone up here, that's where the liquidity is, and it would make sense if we do end up getting this breakout from this resistance line. That basically means we would see this upward move, breakout, liquidity, retest, and then we could even push further toward 114 or even 116,000 US dollars. This is really the bullish scenario. Only if this support area here, which we already talked about yesterday, so around 103,000 US dollars, if that breaks down here, then it gets critical. We would still have 101K as support, but after that, it's probably down to 97 or maybe even another level lower. So this really needs to hold now. In terms of news, we'll take a closer look at that in a moment, but actually, there's nothing coming out of the US today, just the, CPI data from the EU. It might be interesting to see, in the end, how the euro reacts, but we'll go into that in a bit more detail in the Forex update in a moment. Otherwise, as I said, not much is happening. Let's wait and see. Let's move over to the altcoins instead. There's been a bit more action there. Unfortunately, Ethereum also didn't reach this entry point down here, but still, we're moving slightly upward again, or rather into our, target zone. Let's just call it that. Even though we've broken out of our, ascending triangle, the support zone we talked about yesterday, this area down here, is still holding for now. But we've also been tested up here now, so it's important now for Ethereum, in order to gain some bullish momentum, that we at least get a 4-hour close back above the 2,650 mark, retested, and then we can go after the $3,000 target again. Those are still the same old price targets from last week. But as I said, I'm actually a bit more bullish about this and think we could even reach that this week. But of course, for that to happen, we first need to really break through the $2,800 mark. We've been rejected there several times now, or rather in this region between 2,700 to 2,800. If we manage to break through, it would probably move up toward $3,000 pretty quickly. Solana is also doing very well, I have to say at this point. So, from our entry point, we've now broken out to the upside in a bullish way. We were rejected at the first pivot, which would have been take profit 1. For take profit 2, I would aim more for the region up here around $169, or actually take profits there. We already had this bullish divergence yesterday. That looks good, another little retest. But now we also need to see more volume coming in here. So, in the next few hours, we need to pay attention and make sure more volume comes in here. Same thing as with Ethereum, so that we can break through these price targets to the upside. And then, today an exception, near, if it loads. So, perfect, because I did a near update last week regarding the swing position. Things are looking pretty good here as well. So these were the entry points here, or rather up here at the upper edge, 242. We're at 250. At this point, you could just take profit 1 and set the stop loss to entry, and then we'll just see how this trade develops from here. But for now, better safe than sorry. That was the swing position we discussed in last week's video. Let's move over to the traditional markets. Gold, we're currently trading at $3,360 here. Come on, open up. It was lagging a bit, but anyway, we're currently trading at $3,360 here. We even climbed a bit higher yesterday, actually reaching the area of 3,390. We talked about it yesterday. Take profit would have been around 3,400, so we just missed it. Now there's hope for everyone who might not be in yet. If this was the temporary top for now, we could accept that and say, okay, we're going to drop down again and do this retest of our larger, I'll show you in a moment, ascending triangle, plus, the 4-hour 200 SMA is also slowly moving through here. That means we could fall back again into the range between $3,304 and $3,320, and then continue the rally upward from there. This is the, symmetrical triangle, the larger one. You have to say here, depending, down here. Wait, let me just quickly remove this. Down here, we have a point of contact. Here, another point of contact. There are only 2 points of contact. On the upside, we have about 3 to 4. It might have actually made more sense if we had come down here again. But anyway, we're definitely still in the position. If this retest happens here, that would be another small long opportunity, or even a chance to double the position. And then we'll see where things go from here. The US indices are still very, very calm. You can see that really well here with the Dow Jones. There was hardly any movement yesterday. The Nasdaq pushed up a bit more again, but it's still more of a consolidation phase. As I said, the all-time high isn't far off anymore. If we take another look at the percentage pump here, it's only 3.4% left. We're slowly getting into that territory, and that's why I also hope that Bitcoin and crypto will really pick up again in the next few days when things start to get critical. In my opinion. Then there are also, where is it now? I think someone posted it, and if not, I'll have to look it up. There are also some news coming up. Yeah, Trump and all that, the tariffs and so on, they're already creating prosperity and blah blah blah. Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of bullishness even as the volume drops and things like that. Sure, there's a bit of accumulation going on here, but I'd start to be a little more cautious when it comes to all the hopium and stuff. Let's just wait and see, but I think the all-time highs, at least for the Nasdaq, are definitely not far off and should be reached soon. Same thing with the S&P 500. Here too, we're not far from the all-time high. So act with caution. I wouldn't dare to take overly ambitious large long positions in stocks right now, but we'll keep an eye on the all-time highs up here for potential short positions. DAX, yeah, not much is really happening if we take a look at it on the 4-hour time frame. It's pretty quiet. 23,930 points. Yeah, there's really not much to say about that right now. And last but not least, as I just mentioned, today the inflation data, or more precisely, the CPI data from the EU will be released. Let's see what they look like, especially since interest rates in the EU have been cut repeatedly for weeks or even months. Whether that has a positive or negative effect could also serve as an indicator for the US, maybe. But still, let's just wait and see. The data will be released. Let me quickly check again. Sorry about that, at 11 o'clock. Let's see what comes out of it, especially the core CPI data for the month, which is very interesting, and of course also the yearly figures. Let's see, if they're positive, that could also be a good sign for the euro. We should at least dump for a pump. As I said, our zones are still clearly at 1.12 down here. For me, that's still a perfect entry point. Otherwise, just for the sake of completeness, we don't have any more vector candles lying around here. Let's also take a quick look at the 1-hour time frame. Yeah, not really much here either. So, 1.12 is still the most appealing thing for me at the moment. Otherwise, that's it from my side. I won't be able to do an altcoin update today, and there probably won't be a video tomorrow either. I'll definitely let you know in writing. Otherwise, that's it from my side. Thanks for watching. We'll talk again, yeah, at the latest the day after tomorrow, including a live stream, and otherwise that's it from me. I wish you a great day, take care, and as always, stay crypto.